The government hardened stand.
सरकार का पक्ष है कि कानून के वे प्रावधान जिन पर किसान को आपत्ति है, उन प्रावधान पर सरकार खुले मन से विचार करने को तैयार है। सरकार का कोई ईगो नहीं है और सरकार को कोई उन पर विचार करने में दिक्कत नहीं है।
Ready for talks, but not ready to repeal laws.
कोई भी कानून पूरा खराब और प्रतिकूल नहीं हो सकता। एक्ट में कौन कौन से ऐसे प्रावधान हैं जिनसे किसान को नुकसान है, तकलीफ है, उनको प्रावधानवार हम चर्चा कर लें और चर्चा करने के बाद उनको कैसे ठीक किया जा सकता है, इस पर हम आगे बढ़ें।
Farmers firm on repeal law demand.
तीनों कानून में तीन ऐसी चीजें हैं जो ट्रेडर्स के लिए हैं, कॉर्पोरेट्स के लिए, इसलिए हम विरोधी। आज सरकार ने ये बात मान ली कि ये कानून ट्रेडर्स के लिए बनाया गया है, तो आगे वो जो अमेंडमेंट्स करने की बात कहते हैं वो तो पीछे रह गई।
Trust deficit at its peak now.
प्रधानमंत्री जी कह रहे हैं कि गलबात जारी रहनी चाहिए, हम भी कहते हैं गलबात जारी रहनी चाहिए। और खेती मंत्री के साथ 6 मीटिंग हो चुकी हैं, वो कह रहा ये किसान जथेबंदियों अमेंडमेंटा को मनणगे तो बातचीत होगी, नहीं होगी। लोड़ भी साबित साढ़े पर फेल ला दी जाती है, इसको अभी निंदा करते हैं।
Kisan Kranti to escalate.
जेड़े टोल प्लाजे अजय नहीं बंद हुए पंजाब में, सारों को बंद कर दिया जाएगा 12 तारीख को। जितने भी टोल प्लाजे पंजाब में है, 14 तारीख के डिस्ट्रिक्ट दफ्तरों अगे, मतलब डीसी दफ्तरों अगे धरने देने का ऐलान हुआ है पूरे भारत में।
From Chalo Delhi now to Gherao Delhi. What will the government do now? Communication deadlocked. So in this scenario, what is it that the government can do? Good evening, I'm Preeti Chaudhary, you're watching To The Point, and we're going to put the spotlight on the Mexican standoff right now, which is the farmers and the government, both of them refusing to blink. Let's cut across immediately right now to Rahul Srivastava, National Affairs Editor, who's going to get us a larger perspective on what we can expect in days to come, and then we'll cut across to our panelists. Rahul, the government very clear today, open to talks, not open to repealing laws. The farmers have made it very clear, you have to repeal laws for this agitation to end. What now? What is the government going to do to actually stem the agitation, which will only peak from tomorrow?
Preeti, the government's key strategy could have been earlier was attrition, make them wait, play for time and several other things. The government did all that. The government took suggestions, listened to objections, provided clarifications and then submitted proposals. The farmers played with a straight bat and they eventually let the government come out in black and white what exactly the best the government could do against their maximalist demand that the government should repeal the bills. Now there is a clear indication to the farmers in black and white that the government is not going to repeal the bills. After the rejection of the proposals from the farmers yesterday, there is a blank. I think the press conference held by the Agriculture Minister and Mr. Piyush Goyal, the Consumer Affairs Minister, largely was a sense of desperation. It was an appeal, but it was also an admission that the government perhaps has reached the end of what it can offer. Now, the government is still offering talks, but whether there will be any point of convergence as far as what the government proposes and what the farmers are asking, it seems very unlikely, especially after this many rounds of talks and discussions, backroom negotiations and all that. Eventually, the government's indication is that the bills are not going to be repealed. The farmers are saying that we want the bills to be repealed. The government will have to now rethink its strategy. Talks is one thing that is already on, that the minister is saying, and there are certain invitations being sent out to certain unions. That's what we are being told. And if it had started, Preeti, eventually it boils down to a point where it had initially started because there was a lack of communication, as it seems right now, as far as the merits or demerits of the bill is concerned. Perhaps a better Mann Ki Baat utilization could have happened. Because now I think it is up to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The government raised the seniority level of the talks by bringing in Amit Shah, the Home Minister, over the Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Toba. Now it's up to the Prime Minister. He has used in the past the Mann Ki Baat very well. Perhaps it is time for the Prime Minister and the government to listen to what the farmers are saying is their Dil Ki Galna.
Well, appreciate you joining us, Rahul. The question is also now, has it gone beyond Mann Ki Baat? Because the farmers are very, very clear. Take back the laws. We don't want to hear anything else. Appreciate you joining us. Rahul Srivastav there, getting us the very latest on what right now are the options in front of the government. Let's cut across to our panelists. I have Ravinder Cheema, President, Rashtriya Arthya Association. I have Tom Vadakan, spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. I have Avik Saha, national convener, Jai Kisan Andolan. I want to begin with our farmers there, Mr. Vadakan, if you allow me that as well. Let's cut across to Ravinder Singh Cheema first. Cheema Sahab, आज जो गवर्नमेंट ने बोला है कि आप बात करिए, आप लोग तो उसी पे अड़ गए हैं कि लॉज वापस ले लें, वो तो हो नहीं सकता, पर बात करिए और मुद्दों पे बात करते हैं.
नहीं, हमने कभी भी
आप जो टेलीविजन की आवाज है पीछे उसे कम कर दीजिएगा चीमा साहब.
ऐसा है कि हमने गवर्नमेंट से टॉक्स को कभी भी क्लोज नहीं किया. हम ऑलवेज ओपन. वी वेलकम व्हाट गवर्नमेंट इज मेकिंग रिफॉर्म्स.
राइट.
पर हम एक बात स्पष्ट करना चाहते हैं कि पहली बात तो गवर्नमेंट ने ये मान लिया कि इस कानून में कमियां थी और ये कमियां थी वो गवर्नमेंट दूर करने के लिए तैयार है. दूसरी बात ये है कि जिस हिस्ट्री में ये कानून पहले बनाया गया, इसीलिए इतने बड़े स्तर पर इसमें अमेंडमेंट जो है उन्होंने जो है वो प्रवान की है. तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि फिलहाल इस जो जिस फॉर्म में अभी ये लाया गया है एनेक्टमेंट, इस कानून को अभी इतनी तेजी में इसमें अमेंडमेंट ना की जाए. कैबिनेट मीटिंग भी बुलाई गई, प्रस्ताव भी डाले गए. हम कहते हैं कि एक बार इन कानून को आप जो है वो रिपील करो, नया कानून लाओ, उसमें फार्मर्स को भी जो है बुलाओ, उसमें आड़तियों को भी बुलाओ और भी कंसर्न. हम तो कहते हैं अंबानी को भी आने दो उन्हीं प्लेटफॉर्मों पे, वो भी अपनी सजेशन दे. अगर उनके पास किसानों के बेनिफिट के लिए एक भी मंत्र है तो वो वहां बताएं. लेकिन इतनी तेजी में इसको जो लाया जा रहा है, दोबारा अमेंड किया जा रहा है, इस फ्रेम में दोबारा कभी भी सब कुछ और भर दिया जाएगा. हम कहते हैं कि जो एपीएमसी एक्ट है उसको मजबूत रहने दो. एपीएमसी में बहुत सी स्टेटों में ऑलरेडी ये प्रोविजन ऑलरेडी है. जो प्रोविजन डाला गया था कि जो बाहर काम करेगा उस पर टैक्स नहीं होगा और जो मंडी में काम करेगा उस पर टैक्स होगा, इसका एक इंडिकेशन था कि बड़ी कंपनियों पर टैक्स नहीं होगा, छोटे व्यापारी पर टैक्स होगा. इसीलिए ये मंडियों में जितना कारोबार प्रभावित हुआ और इस बार इतनी गिरावट आ गई. आपने धान को देखा होगा कि जो बासमती धान 3000 बिकता था, इतना टेंडर हो गया कि 2200-1400 रुपए तक एमपी में बिक रहा है और 1500-1600 रुपए में बिक रहा है ये यूपी में. इसी तरह पंजाब में भी उसका रेट गिरा. तो ये सारा कारण ये है कि आम छोटे ट्रेडर पे बहुत बड़ा प्रेशर इस कानून का आया था. लेकिन गवर्नमेंट अमेंड करने के लिए तैयार है, हम भी वेलकम करते हैं, लेकिन इसमें इतनी तेजी ना करें. एक जो सरकार होती वो मतलब एक पेरेंट्स की तरह होती है, तो पेरेंट्स को बच्चों की बात सुननी चाहिए.
All right, let's cut across to Avik Saha as well. Mr. Saha, the government has come out and said, you could call it a form of desperation. They say they've tried everything to find a headway. They haven't been able to. Now what?
I am unhappy that in democratic India, a government has to be desperate. That was never the intention of the farmers' organizations. The farmers' organizations were clear that, look, you are calling these laws, you have made these laws, admittedly, for welfare of the farmers, We don't see our welfare in it. Put it aside. And we will tell you what our welfare is in, and let's make new laws. So the government pushed itself into a corner by being desperate. I personally think this whole thing is about managing the image of the Prime Minister. You know, this infallible, godlike person who can never go wrong. And this is not really a desperation. This is a critical moment in the government's attempt to manage the Prime Minister, the chief political asset of the BJP. And this is what the problem is. So unless the government understands that it is governing India and not acting only in interest of one person or one political party, there will never be a solution. The government now needs to come forward and act positively and not desperately. We don't want the government to be desperate. We want the government to be sensible, sensitive, and to help the farmers realize and achieve their basic demand that we need assured income. We need guaranteed income like every other citizen of the country.
All right. Okay, stay with me. Let's bring in the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Tom Vadakan. Mr. Vadakan, you know, since yesterday, after the proposal went from the government, we've spoken to many farm unions. And if I could come out with only one basic demand, which is they say you do whatever you want to, but it's very clear that they want minimum support price, MSP, to be hardwired into the law. Not as written assurance, nothing to do with APMC, but MSP to be hardwired into the law. And the government hasn't at least accepted that demand of theirs, because if you do, it goes against your bill. The bills will be infractious.
Preeti, nobody is desperate. Let me get that very clear. And it is not about the image that Mr. Saha and his team is talking about. If there's anything that the Prime Minister stands for, his pro-farmer position. And Saha and company can say what they want about the Prime Minister, but let me tell you, if there's been any Prime Minister who has his heart close to the farmer, that is the current Prime Minister. Let that be very candidly said. Now, Mr. Saha and company is headed by, I'm not going into the group. Now, when it becomes a politico-agricultural protest, the players are, whether it is, they are multiple, you know, they are like the octopus.
Mr. Vadakan, are you calling it a political protest? Because it's just not Mr. Saha or any other, you know.
No, let me complete, Preeti,
yes.
Let me complete. This is like an octopus operation. The Saha and company, their hands are with the anti-CAA, they are there in the Sahin Bagh, they're all everywhere. When we are talking to the farmers understand us. But this variety of new interpretations...
No. Mr. Vadakan, let's not. Let's not divert from the topic. Why I'm saying not true is, yesterday 10 farm unions came out and spoke after the proposal was rejected, sir.
Let me put my point across, let them contradict it after that.
Okay. No, sir, but I'll tell you why. Mr. Vadakan.
I thought this was a free country.
Mr. Vadakan, I'm going to... Just hear me out,
No, I'm not a liar. Please, Mr. Sahin.
1 second, okay. Can we all calm down? 1 second.
I dare you.
No. Okay, no. Mr. Vadakan, why you might want to... Mr. Vadakan, you have...
You're an ultra...
1 second, Mr. Vadakan, hear me out, sir. Mr. Vadakan, hear me out. 1 second. Yes. You have your point of view, which is great, but don't discredit other farmers and other farm unions as well, who have their point. It's not that they are in agreement as well, sir.
I'm not talking about the farmers.
Okay.
Farmers are in agreement with the government on a variety of issues. This is probably the first government that has walked that extra mile and is ready to discuss everything threadbare.
1 second. Okay, then Mr. Vadakan.
Yes.
Mr. Chima, are you associated with anti-CA protests? Have you been associated with Shaheen Bagh, sir?
I did not mention Mr. Chima.
But, sir, he's very much a part of the same table, no? He's the one who's holding the same point of views.
I'm talking about Mr. Saha.
But sir, you cannot whitewash an entire agitation on Mr. Saha's political affiliation.
I'm saying Preeti. I didn't say your name. When I mentioned a person, I'm specific to that person. He can bring a defamation notice against me if he thinks I'm wrong. I'll stand the course.
You're not worth it.
I'm ready to.
You're not worth it.
I'll go to the...
1 second. Okay, can we not get into personal commentary? Can we just go back? Okay. Mr. Vadakan, you know what we'll be doing is, you will be doing the biggest disservice right now to make this personal And to get into this trajectory of debate, let's stick to the topic. There are farm unions who want answers. Let's talk about that. Please finish, sir.
जहां तक फार्म एसोसिएशन का सवाल है, हमने किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे एंटर नहीं करने दिया। बहुत सी पॉलिटिकल पार्टियों ने ऑफर भी किया। उन्होंने कहा कि हमारा समर्थन तुम्हारे साथ है, हमारा वॉलंटियर तुम्हारे पास आएगा, हम तुम्हारे साथ आएंगे। एक नहीं, सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टियों ने हमें कहा, लेकिन हम इस प्लेटफॉर्म को नॉन पॉलिटिकल ही रखना चाहते हैं और किसानों की भलाई भी इसी में है कि ये जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं ये इसीलिए करती हैं कि ये नॉन पॉलिटिकल है। जिस दिन इनमें पॉलिटिक्स आएगी ये बिखर जाएंगे। गवर्नमेंट भी ये चाहती है और पॉलिटिकल पार्टियां भी चाहती हैं। मैं ये स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं कि यहाँ पे कोई भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जब पावर में आती है उसका कहना कुछ और है, जब वो विरोध में आती है तो उसका कहना कुछ और हो जाता है। सो हम इस पॉलिटिकल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में नहीं पड़ना चाहते। हमारा तो एक ही कहना कि अगर ईमानदारी से सरकार चाहती है कि किसानों का भला हो, तो मैं एक बात बताना चाहता हूं मोदी साहब को कि सबसे पहले आप पंजाब हरियाणा की मंडियों को एग्जामिन करो, वहां पे क्यों सभी किसानों को एमएसपी मिलती है और जहां बड़े बड़े लीडर बीजेपी के सरकार चला रहे हैं या सरकार चला चुके हैं, वहां पे आज तक एमएसपी क्यों नहीं मिल रही, ये इनको मंथन करना चाहिए। लेकिन ये जो नया एक्ट आया है ये पंजाब और हरियाणा जहां पे बेस्ट नेटवर्क है एग्रीकल्चर मार्केटिंग सिस्टम का, आज ये लोग एक रेगुलेटेड लॉ के अंडर काम करते हैं और आप उनको बिचौला बोलते हैं। मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि इंडिपेंडेंट एग्जामिन कराओ। हम लोग चाहते हैं कि किसानों का भला हो, अगर आप भी चाहते हैं
जी
इसको हिस्ट्री में ना।
तो एक बार मैं let's go back to Mr. Wadekar. Mr. Wadekar, let's just answer, stick to the farmers movement. Talk about that, sir.
Preeti, MSP is being talked about. Now on to the MSP. Kerala has no MSP. And what exists on paper on MSP is just on paper. Nobody buys on MSP there. Whereas this left front carries a flag and is one of the flag holder here. No government in Kerala pays the MSP price. And I dare say there are many other states. South India is on a different story. MSP is prevalent for 6% of the North Indian belt. And the rest are cut off from this scenario. Yes, I agree with Mr. Chima that there must be an examination of the situation of MSP in different states. Because there are many commodities which are not in the list of MSP. Yes, we need it. And I must also bring to the notice of Mr. Chima that this Prime Minister is the first one who introduced pension for farmers. 3,000 rupees is being paid for people above 60 for the farmers. He's one man who's been interested in the cause of farmers.
But Mr. Wadekar, the likes of Mr. Chima are saying hardwire the MSP into the law then, no?
That can all happen only through talks, no? We can't burn the discussion mode. We are into discussion mode. Nobody is desperate.
Okay.
Yes, why not? There is discussion going on. We have arrived at one point. There have been 5 rounds of discussion already. The Home Minister has met. There will be subsequent meetings. Let the farmers present their point of view. And I'm sure we are all with an open mind and we are for the farmers. But genuine farmers.
All right. Okay, I need to close this news edition. Appreciate you all three for joining us. Well, till now, at least what it looks like, the government says they're open to talks, but they're not open to repeal the laws. The farmers stand firm. When it comes down to the biggest sticking point, which is to hardwire the minimum support price into law, why is it the government that cannot do it? Well, the entire basis of this law is a free market. If you hardwire MSP, which is a minimum support price, into the law, doesn't it go against the grain of free market? Wouldn't the bills which made this law be infructuous?